Hello, Miss Collins class. My name is Jonathan Cooper, and today I'm going to be talking about area and volume. First, I'd like to start off with a definition of area and volume. Area. The area of a flat or plane figure is the number of unit squares that can be contained within it. The unit square is usually some standard unit like a square meter, a square foot, or a square inch. Volume. Volume is the measure of the amount of space inside of a solid figure, like a cube, ball, cylinder, or pyramid. Its units are always cubic, that is, the number of little element cubes that fit inside the figure. Now I'm going to teach you the formulas for area and volume of various shapes. And at the end of today's lesson, I'm going to give you some problems to work out. So take notes. So here we have a 3x5 rectangle. The formula for figuring out a rectangle is multiplying its length times its width. So we're going to take our 5 from the bottom of our rectangle, and we're going to take our 3 and multiply them. And then we'll get an area of 15. So, on to our next shape, which we are going to be doing a triangle. The formula for a triangle is length times width times 1/2. So this is a triangle that's 6 by 3. So we're going to take our 6 by 3 and then multiply them and then multiply it by 1/2. Awesome way to do it is 6 by 3 and then divide it by 2. So 6 times 3 is 18. And then 18 divided by 2, or times 1/2, is 9. So that's our triangle. Now we have a trapezoid. The easiest way to figure out the area of a trapezoid is to split it into 3 parts. The 2 triangles and 1 square. And then you know the formula for a rectangle and you know a formula for a triangle. So just figure out the triangles and then add them with the square. So 3 by 3, 3 times 3 for the triangles is 9. Oh, 3 by 3 by 2 because we have 2 triangles. And then that gets us 18. But since we have a triangle and not a square, we have to divide it by 2. And that gets us 9. And then, because 3 times 3 is 9 from our square, then we add 9 and 9 and get 18. So the area of our trapezoid is 18. Okay, so now we're going to go to volume. We are going to have a rectangular prism. And we are going to add up all the sides. Or multiply the sides. So we have a 5 by 6 by 7 cube. So, what we are going to do, we're going to multiply 5 by 6, and that's one layer of our equation. But then we're going to take 5 by 6 and then multiply that and stack it 7 times. 5 from there, and 7 from the width. Which gets us 210. Because 6 times 5 is 30. And 30 times 7 is 210. So, there we go. That's how you solve for a rectangular prism. Now we are going to go to a triangular prism. So, it's basically a rectangular prism and a triangle. So, what you're going to want to do is figure out the triangles, and then you're going to figure out the other. So you're going to take length times width times height and multiply that by a half, or divided by 2. So 6 times 3 is 18, and then you multiply it by 4 and get 72. And then we're going to take our 72, because it's a triangle, we are going to divide it by 2 and get a total of 36. Now that you've learned the basics, I'm going to give you a few problems to work on your own. Feel free to pause the video for however long you need to solve the problems. Problem 1. You have a shape with 4 by 7 sides. So pause the video here. 4 times 7 is 28. So that's your answer. Now we have a triangle that is 10 blocks by 5 blocks. Pause the video here. Figure out the triangle's area. So this question is 10 times 5 is 50, divided by 2 is 25. So that means that the area of this triangle is 25. Now we're going to head to the volume. Get ready. Actually, first we have a trapezoid before we go into the volume. So, splitting it up for you so that you have your separate 3 parts. And then, the body is 5 by 3 and each triangle is 3 by 3. So, now you have to take your 5 and multiply it by 3 to get the 15, which is the area of the body. Then you take 3 by 3 for one triangle, and you get 9 divided by 2 is 4 5/10. And 4 5/10 times 2, because there's 2 triangles, which is 9. And then you add 15 and 9 to get 24, which is the area of the trapezoid. Now on to volume. So, now we are going to have a square or cube that is 10 blocks by 10 blocks by 10 blocks. Figure out the volume of this cube. Pause the video here. Okay, so 10 times 10 times 10. Have to fix my capitalization. 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. If you got 1,000, you are correct. Now we have a triangular prism. This triangular prism is 4 by 2 by 6. Pause the video here. So you multiply 4 by 2 and get 8. And then you take your 8 and multiply it by 6. And we get 48. Then we take 48 and divide it by 2. And your answer is 24. Thank you for participating in today's lesson. I hope you have a better understanding of area and volume. I'd like to thank Miss Collins and her class. We will see you next time. This is Jonathan Cooper, and out.